Carrie Hyam here, and I'm here with my husband Whit Hyam, and we are pumped to be sharing this episode. And in this episode, we're going to be giving you our 5 top tips to building business as a couple. When you are building your business as a couple, there's a lot more dynamic to how your business is going to have to be run, how you're going to dish things out. And we want to make sure that if maybe you're trying to retire your spouse so that they can come and do this with you, maybe you're a couple trying to build right now, we want to make your life easier and help you avoid some of the pitfalls that we made in the very beginning of trying to grow our business.
Absolutely. A lot of people in this industry, especially in home-based business, right? Network marketing, you name it, they want to we've come across a lot of people that want to work together as husband and wife, partners, whatever that may be. They want to work together, and and a lot of them don't know what that looks like. And so, and we've also seen others that tried to make it work and just didn't put it together.
Yeah.
And I remember, we got a lot of questions early on. Well, how did you guys make it work? Because it is super difficult. Think about how most families are. One is usually, or both are usually working away from each other. They see each other maybe only a few hours a day, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're going to build a business together. Usually that dynamic doesn't usually go together a whole lot, just because now you have a lot of time together. Not to say that the individuals, they don't care about each other. It just can make it very, very difficult when it comes to building a business, because there are roles that have to be played in this. And luckily, me and Carrie, ours was kind of eased into that process in kind of what we were doing. But so that's what we're going to share with you guys today, is how to make the most impact as a couple inside of your business if you're looking at growing together like that, which is definitely powerful. It's very, very powerful to be able to do that, because you can divide and conquer a lot of the tasks that one person would have to hire out a lot of people to do.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
So our first tip, because we're going to be giving you 5 here on this video, our first tip is having open communication.
Yep.
Open communication around everything. So a lot of times when you talk about, having open communication, you think, just open communication around my feelings. Right? Anytime you're talking about marriage, most people think, I'm just going to tell him how I feel all the time.
Nope.
That is important. It is important to have that open communication, but also communication around your business and what is happening inside of your business at all times.
Yeah. And this is really, really difficult for a lot of people that are working together, is especially when you start to make money in a business. Kind of the thing that a lot of people don't like to talk about when things aren't going the best in your business is finances.
Yep.
Is the money coming in, or are we spending way too much money, type of a thing. Okay. So this is just a general, you have to have open communication with one another and know how to talk to each other, not being afraid to communicate the bad and also the good, and building each other up. That was really hard for me in the beginning. Communicating that with Carrie, especially about the financial piece, because I was working a full-time job at the time when we decided to start our business, and so when things weren't going good, or we had to put more money into it, there's a lot of times that I just didn't bring it up to Carrie about, hey, how's this, or how's that, because
I'm the emotional piece of our marriage. Surprise, right?
Yes.
I am the emotional piece, and money was very hard because we didn't have much of it, and when you don't have much of it, it's very easy to want to hold on to it and be desperate, and that can't happen when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to scale, usually when you're growing a business, anytime you're growing a business, you're going to have to put money into your business in order to make it work, and that's just entrepreneurship. Right?
Exactly.
So make sure you're having open communication across the board around everything, about finances, about people that you're talking to, around
things that you don't enjoy
doing.
Or things that you really, really like to do.
Things you like to do. And of course, how you're feeling. Yep. Don't be afraid to talk about how you're feeling around all of it, because if you're going to be working with someone, that person is probably your best friend, right? Yep. If you're wanting to spend 24/7 with that person, chances are that person is your best friend. They're going to want to make sure that you're taken care of on all aspects of that.
Exactly.
So let's go to number 2.
So the second thing, and very, very important, you know, and me and Carrie are very lucky about this point. We never really did this
Mhm.
at all, but it's
But
something
we've
we've
seen
seen
that
people
it's
do.
a pitfall that actually
It
tears
happens a lot of
couples apart
Yes.
when trying to grow together.
Yep, especially growing a business. And so no shaming or blaming allowed, okay?
Yep.
Because you are a partnership in growing your business together. One of the hardest things is understanding your role, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But you guys are both going to be working on things, and you know, there are some times that things are just going to get in the way, and one person doesn't get what they're supposed to do done.
Yep.
It's very, very difficult, you know, especially in hard times when things aren't working, to say, well, you know, we're not getting anywhere because of, or you didn't do, or whatever that may be. Okay. And so it's very important not to shame or put blame on the individuals. Okay. If one is struggling to keep up, remember, this is a team thing. If you're going to do this together, okay, there's no I in team, as they say. You're going to have to make it work. And sometimes, you know, we've each had to take over our other person's roles and responsibilities and kind of, you know, put the weight on our shoulders and carry it for a little bit until, you know, that person was ready to come back or whatever that may be. But please do not get in the shame and blame game.
Yes.
Between each other.
It will tear your business apart quicker than
Fast.
anything. And not only can it tear your business apart, but it has a chance to tear that marriage
This is the
apart
person you're working with
as well.
Exactly.
All right. So tip number 3 with our 5 tips is being a cheerleader for your partner. Now, just as it can be easy, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm not going to blame her and I'm not going to shame them. But on the flip side, it's important to recognize when they're doing things that are great, right? Yep. I remember when I first got started, I was terrified. I didn't want to make the phone calls. I didn't want to reach out to people back when we were growing traditionally.
She wanted to do videos or anything like that.
We'll get to that here in a sec. But I remember in the very early days of just trying to develop the skill set of talking to people, he was my biggest cheerleader. He kept me going. He kept saying, okay, you know, that person wasn't interested. Go to the next one, type of a thing. And then again, when we learned how to grow our business on social media, like he said, like I was terrified of doing the videos, and it was his constant, love, support, cheering me on that got me to do that first live video, and then the next one, and then the next one. And it was all because of the boost in confidence that I got from my partner. Yep. And hopefully I've done the same for you.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously, and that's what you guys learn to do as you start to, learn kind of your roles and responsibilities. And that's what we're going to be talking about in number 4. Is how to be that cheerleader, for your for the person that you're working with. Okay, so don't be afraid to give them praise and to pat each other on the back as you're going along, because I promise you, there's going to be low times where you're going to have to be the one that sees reason and logic, and there's been times, and then it will flip, and then the other person kind of has to see reason and logic and not emotion. Okay.
Yep. And if your partner is in that place where like maybe they're not feeling motivated, recognition is actually a core motivator for a lot of people. So make sure that you're giving them that
recognition. Yep. So the 4th thing, roles and responsibilities, and this is obviously very important, but sometimes it's, especially when you get going and you're building together, learning what those roles and responsibilities are.
Yep.
Now the great thing is a lot of people that come into a business like this, a lot of it, especially in network marketing, one is usually a stay-at-home parent or spouse, partner, whatever, and one is working. And so usually that person that kind of gets the business going, and that was our case. Carrie was the one who kind of had a jump start. I brought it to her, said, I can't do this without you. She took it and ran with it. And then I kind of watched as she did things, so I knew what was going on, and then I did what I could. Okay, but when I came home full time to start building with us inside of our business, it was really difficult for me to understand, well, what is my role and responsibility? So one of the easiest ways to kind of understand your roles and responsibility is to kind of dip your toes into everything and start doing things, right? And start doing the things that they're doing as well. So that way you guys can identify, what you like to do inside of your business. Okay, because I have things that I love to do inside of our business. Carrie has things that she loves to do inside of her business, and we both have things that we do not like to do. And it's usually the things that she likes to do, I don't like to do, and vice versa. So
that's not always the case in everybody else's. I like to think that Whit and I, for whatever reason, we just seamlessly move through things. But there's a lot of couples out there that, you know, they both don't like doing certain things.
Yep.
And if neither of you are willing to do whatever that thing is that you hate, it can be another one of those blaming, shaming things. So a little tip is, if it's something that someone else can do and you can hire it off, do it.
if you have the financial situation,
if you're in the financial, if not,
you might have to bite the bullet for a little while.
If you don't have that, if you don't have the financial situation to do it, you might have to bite the bullet, and both of you split whatever you hate to do evenly in the middle, in the middle.
And make that time to do that, and don't neglect it, because I promise you, if you do it long enough, you will have the means to be able to just hire it out so somebody else can do it for you.
Yep.
Okay?
And the last one, which
this is going to seem kind of weird.
It's going to seem weird, but it's worked for us, right?
It works really, really well. And this is more of a between the two. Now, if you're not working with somebody that maybe is not spousal or emotionally or physically connected in this sense, this might not work.
Well, it can still work.
Or, yeah.
The overall strategy of it can work for anybody.
Work. Yeah, it can.
But we make deals.
Yeah. So we give, it's kind of like a reward system for each of us.
Yep.
Sometimes sexually or just whatever. Because the biggest thing here is we like to do things together. I mean, obviously we like to build business together. And I know a lot of people want to do that. And so one of the hardest things is to obviously stay connected to one another as a husband and wife.
Yep.
And so that's one of the, and where we learned this, and we actually threw this in and added this in for other people that are looking at growing together, other couples that are looking at growing together in a business, is when we launched one of our very first mentorship type products. I remember we spent 2 full weeks, up in the morning all the way till early morning in the next day.
4 in the morning to 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it just kept going.
We were exhausted.
And I remember when we got done with that and we launched it and we did well, I remember I looked at Carrie and I said, if we ever have to do that again, I'll just go back to working for somebody else, because that wasn't worth it.
Yep.
Because I didn't get to see her, I didn't get to have fun with her, I didn't get to.
We were both tired. We were both stressed.
We were both mean to each other at that time too. So learn how to make deals with each other. Learn how to reward each other, whatever that looks like for you.
Yep.
We have our own way of doing that, which it would take us forever to explain it. But
well, an example is, hey, I don't want to do this certain thing. If you do it, he tells me, I'll do this, right? You'll be like, I'll give you a massage tonight.
This is worth that,
And vice versa. We'll let your mind wander on that. Now, maybe you're not a couple. Maybe you don't you're not intimate. It can still work the same. But it can still work the same, where it's like, hey, I'll buy you dinner if you do this.
Yeah.
Right?
You're willing to do this one time. But learn to make deals with one another.
Yep.
Again, kind of that reward system for somebody really not wanting to, because I promise you will do things in your business that both of you just absolutely despise doing. But sometimes it requires you to do it. Not everything in your business is always going to be fun and exciting. Some things are going to be, kind of doom and gloom type stuff, but they have to be addressed, right? So if you don't address that, I promise you, once we implemented this, our business has been way more fun, just because we take the hard things and we know that, hey, if they come and say, hey, will you do this? Hey, what do you want for that? It's almost like fair game. Well, this is what I want. So let's make it happen. And it's made our business a lot fun and actually brought us a lot closer together.
I was about to say, it's spicened up the whole relationship, not just the business. So hopefully you got a little bit of value from these tips today. Tip number 1, open communication at all times around all things. Tip number 2 is no blaming and shaming at all, ever allowed. Tip number 3 is being that cheerleader for your partner. Number 4 is identifying clear roles and responsibility for each person in the business. And number 5 is make those deals. Keep it hot, right? Keep the romance alive if you're working as a couple. If you're just working with a partner and you're not necessarily romantic with that person, keep it fun. All right. So hopefully you got tips. Hopefully you got value. If you did, hit the subscribe or the like button wherever you may be listening to this, and make sure you share it with anybody that you think may benefit from it. And we'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.